The Murray River, Australia. The mighty Murray. In 1981, Ron Barth paddled the length of the Murray in a solo touring kayak. He completed the 2,159 kilometers in 27 days and set a record which has not to this day been broken.
She's quite a river, our Murray. It was a good paddle, but I'm restless again.
Ron has been partially paralyzed since he was 6 months old. His disability was brought about by an operation to remove a spinal tumor.
I'd like to tackle something twice this length and a lot harder. A river like the Mississippi.
The Old Man River, the father of waters, a giant. It has never been paddled by a solo canoeist, a formidable challenge indeed.
Hey, Ron, bring us back one of those southern bells about so big.
Ron set about raising funds to float his expedition. He was only moderately successful.
That sounds great.
He called his brother Kevin, living in their hometown, Broken Hill.
The Mississippi River?
And Carolyn Nimmo,
United States.
a doctor's secretary from Melbourne.
You're kidding, you're mad.
These two will be his support crew. And so the stage was set. 3 people with almost no knowledge of the Mississippi and with hardly enough money to get there were about to take on an awesome challenge. April the 20th, 1983.
It looks too good. There's not enough rust on it, Kev.
Well, how much can we afford to pay?
Hi, sir. Can I help you?
Yes, mate. How much do you want for this?
One owner. It's got 13,000 miles on it. Where are you going with?
We're going to the Minneapolis.
How about $500?
Yeah. Well, we've got a long way to go. Will it make it?
Sure. It's still got 13,000 miles on it. It's one owner, little old lady in Pasadena.
Okay. It'd be nice if we had the money. Well, good night.
KFAB in Omaha with the news more people depend on.
Is it serious?
It's a Friday, 29th day of April. Can you believe it? Sunday is May Day already?
How are you, George?
Pleased to meet
In
you.
Minneapolis, the expedition meets George
Pleased to
Sorensen,
meet you,
the
too.
editor of a canoe club publication.
How are you?
George.
Well, tell me, how did you make it all the way here from Los Angeles in that beater?
So tight are the Australian expedition's finances that George Sorensen pays for a support boat.
They cover the top part of the river. Here's Lake Itasca.
Yeah, right.
In the summer of 1978, a British Air Force team paddled the river in 43 days. There were 6 canoeists in 3 craft. Ron is alone. There were 2 people in a support boat. Kevin is alone. There were 2 ground crew in 2 vehicles. Carolyn is alone. 10 people, highly organized and equipped, with spare canoes, parts, paddles and stores. The Australian trio, by comparison, is well outclassed. May Day, northern Minnesota. 80 miles south of the Canadian border. From this tiny lake flows the Mississippi River. Lake Itasca is usually frozen at this time, but the recent winter was the warmest in living memory.
It's an unreal feeling.
Good.
Yep. Got a journey out of us.
Shoot them rapids.
Yeah.
I can't describe the feeling I have. It's unreal. I never thought of the moment I'd actually be standing here.
Official starting time, 9:30 a.m.
Oh, the water's cold!
Ron had expected a flood from the normal spring thaw, but this is not a normal spring. At the end of the day, the Australian expedition had progressed only 25 miles. Day 2. The river now allows the support boat some draft, and it is deployed for the first time. The tight rocky stream has widened. Now it is swampy and open, but still shallow. A maze of small islands and channels emerges, and with it the risk of losing the main stream. Ron settles into a steady, regular stroke, which will be his pattern in open water from now on. At about 60 strokes a minute, Ron will paddle 36,000 strokes a day. The Gulf of Mexico is still more than 1.5 million strokes away. With the swamp grass behind, the river constricts again. The next 15 miles are plagued with fallen trees, snags, and shallow water. The river branches, divides, and rejoins. Ron constantly checks the current to confirm the direction of the main channel. The river is completely blocked at this point, so the first portage takes place. There will be 11 portages around dams and other obstacles before the expedition reaches Minneapolis.
First time been out the boat all day. Oh, yeah, also.
Progress is slow, and there is still a large lake to navigate before the end of the day. The temperature is dropping quickly, and a wind is building. Ron knows the dangers of wind on lakes, so begins to sprint. He is sprinting into near disaster. It is not usual for a film crew to appear in its own film. However, the events on Lake Irving at the end of Day 2 require the crew to be players in this story.
Well, that was quite an adventure. We hauled the boat.
How are you still afloat?
We put a rough patch on it with tape.
Kevin, I can't hear you, but if you're in range, head for this green petrol storage tank here. Probably hasn't even got it switched on.
We're in trouble!
Oh, dear.
Kevin!
Jesus.
We're in trouble. Kevin! They say they're sinking.
We found them far from shore. Ron had swamped, and in an attempt to get into the support boat, it too had taken on water. They were a strange sight. As we approached, they were just staring at us. Neither could talk, they were just so cold.
Geez, I never want to be that cold again.
Ron's brush with Lake Irving left the kayak weakened. Seams split during manhandling the waterlogged boat.
Yeah, rip it off.
I think it's a wonderful thing, them boys coming down from Australia and coming down the Mississippi River like they are. Yeah, it's a wonderful experience for them.
It can only get easier. We've had a lot of trouble coming down as far as getting the support boat through. But that's the only. As far as myself and the boat here, we're going well. But as it gets deeper and that, there's no problem.
How did you get started kayaking?
May I help you, my lady?
Hi. Couldn't you fill her up with regular, please?
All right, ma'am. Oh, I see you're part of the Australian crew going down the Mississippi?
Yeah, how'd you guess?
Oh, well, I've read about it and everyone's talking about it.
I wish Ron would let me look after him like I'm supposed to. He won't even let me massage him. The backs of his hands really got blistered from the sun yesterday, so I hope he keeps his gloves on today. The next checkpoint's about 18 miles from here. He's travelling about 6 miles an hour, so that's 3 hours. It's about 11 o'clock. Where am I going to put all this stuff? I wish Kevin would pack up their 10 of a morning. It would help me a bit.
There's a dam coming up, Ron. We'll have to portage.
Kevin, you'll need to go to the far right-hand side of the dam.
Okay, Carolyn, gotcha.
It's a difficult portage, but there's some guys here that have said they don't mind helping us if we need it.
Here we come.
That's all right, hang on to it.
You're running on schedule.
It's a wonder with this bloody wind.
We've got some guys to help you with the portage.
Why?
Because it's really steep up there.
Just hold on to the light. I'm going to get awfully wet here. Right?
Yep, I've got you.
Right.
Yeah, they're right. Right, you got the other one there?
Here's a hat from us guys. And make it a good
Right.
trip.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Hey, how's the kiss?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Day 7.
Bloody cold.
Minus 12 degrees Fahrenheit.
See the ice in the tent last night?
Yeah, it must have been freezing. Hey, isn't it Mother's Day back home, Ron?
Yeah, it is. I wonder what Mum's doing today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love a meat pie instead of these bloody frozen Wheaties. They're unreal.
Ron is a warm weather canoeist. These sub-zero temperatures in northern Minnesota are affecting him, and it begins to show in his unwillingness to start early, a discipline which he had hoped to maintain. Once the days warm up, Ron is fine. The late starts, however, are slipping him even further back. He is now 52 miles behind the British.
But the British were paddling 2 men to a canoe. There's a big difference in the amount of distance 2 men can cover.
The expedition moves south into the already burgeoning spring. The Mississippi is wider and stronger and is already showing signs of its latent might.
It's 2:15. Tell Ron he's a bit behind schedule. And your lunch is ready if you want to come and get it.
After 11 days of paddling, the expedition is again in Minneapolis. 1/4 of the Mississippi is now behind, 500 miles. Ahead is a different river, a controlled water highway. Portaging is over, but there are 27 locks to pass through between Minneapolis and St. Louis. Lock number 1, the deepest of all, bypasses St. Anthony's Falls. There is a 49 feet drop in the river level at Minneapolis.
At Lake on Alaska, we don't have to worry because we go down here.
Yeah. It's all stump fields.
Yeah. Lacrosse.
The temperatures are rising as the expedition crawls south. The bitter cold mornings are behind. Most days now, the trio arises before dawn to get a head start. Ron also uses this quiet time of day to reflect and speculate. The Mississippi River has now grown to full size, and there is, by contrast with the former trickle, news of high floods in the south.
But what about those big barges, the 4-acre jobs? Could meet one of them on a bend and go underneath it. Everyone tells me they're my biggest worry.
Evidence of the river as a natural highway is increasing. Barges of all sizes are now posing a serious threat to the fragile kayak. With their 4,000 horsepower towboats churning up the water, Ron has to be alert. The wash from a barge can create 9-foot waves. rain. A deluge. Wisconsin is having its wettest spring for many years. It is this rain along the catchments which will cause the fourth highest flood in the river's history. A flood which will both help the kayak speed and create a special danger of its own. Ron's craft is not designed for fast water.
Well, I knew it wouldn't be easy. At least I'm warm while I'm paddling. Trouble is I can't see anything ahead. Is that a barge or a lock? I'd better move over just in case it is a barge. Hope Carolyn's waiting. People often ask me what I think of when I'm paddling, how I don't go crazy. Well, I fix my eyes on the bow of the kayak, watch the water slide past. Each minute means progress. I never think about the next 10 miles or even 5. I only think of the next 10 minutes and then the next 10.
The barges are causing Ron lost time. He has a choice of riding the wake or running to the bank out of harm's way until the river settles. He does both, but experiments as well, judging each barge and set of circumstances as it comes. He is 67 miles behind the British.
There's a thing in nature that the males are usually the most prettiest and handsome, really handsome. Well, I keep telling my wife that that's the same way in humans too, but she always hits me. So, don't go home and tell your mother or father about that. But in nature, usually the male dominant bird, especially, is the bright colored, really pretty. Why do you think is that? What's the female have to do that the male doesn't have to do? They cook? No, not in nature. Birds don't cook.
And we have heard about a gentleman that's canoeing in a kayak from Lake Itasca down to Louisiana. And there he is right now out in Lock and Dam 13.
He must be strong. Hi, mister.
Hi, kids.
He's gonna paddle the whole length of the river.
The Australian expedition is gaining time.
It isn't often that we come across a story where man conquers nature, but that's happening right now along the banks of the Mississippi, as an Australian kayaker shows inner strength and a great deal of courage.
Courage? Huh. I wish he'd have the courage to let me look after him. I mean, look at his hands, they're a mess. The more I warn him, the more he won't listen to me. He's just become so pig-headed. He won't even talk to me. I know he's feeling a lot of tension, but he could at least be civil.
The strain is beginning to show.
That'll be 49 miles.
Since it's only 49 miles, we'll throw 2 checkpoints in there. That first one will be down at... here we are. Lock and Dam number 18.
The locks along the Mississippi are smaller than most barges, so a slow process of splitting each barge and locking it through in 2 sections occurs.
Yeah, I imagine he's got a big double.
Kevin, can you tell Ron that you'll have to wait a bit over an hour because of this barge, and the lockmaster wants you both to go round the point over to your left.
River traffic is locked on a priority basis. Pleasure craft wait for all other traffic. Lock 19 at Keokuk is closed for the day for repairs. An unexpected portage is necessary. The Mississippi riverboat era was one of unprecedented prosperity, excitement, and growth. And nowhere in America's history was there a more romantic chapter written. Hannibal, Missouri, birthplace of Samuel Clemens, known to the world through his books as Mark Twain. Ron has gained more ground.
Today, nearing the halfway point of his 55-day journey, he reached where the Illinois and Mississippi rivers intersect, near Grafton. Bath has already taken his kayak down the Murray River in Australia.
May the 26th, halfway.
They're bloody beauty! This calls for a celebration!
Rather good.
You're equal with the record at this point? In how many days?
27.
27 days.
Just don't sit around and do it. Always have a goal. So the biggest thing we've got to handle is boredom.
A man from Australia is traveling the rivers of the Western world in a kayak. Now, that's tough enough for most people, but this voyager is paralyzed from the waist down.
Today, an update on Ron Bath and his Mississippi Challenge. He pulled into St. Louis about 1 o'clock this afternoon. Bath started out at the source of the Mississippi, Lake Itasca in upper Minnesota. He'll end his challenge at the Gulf of Mexico. Ron Bath has been a paraplegic since he was an infant. If he succeeds in kayaking solo the length of the Mississippi, he'll be the first person to have done so.
We've run out of money. We're now spending my savings, and I don't know how he's going to pay me back. We can't go on like this. Something has to happen.
Below St. Louis, the river is in high flood. The current is running at 9 miles an hour, and the river is 2 miles wide. From here to the Gulf, levee banks protect the towns and farming land from high water. This flood has risen quickly, and even with the levees, some emergency action is needed to protect low-lying areas. Ron stays out of the current because his touring kayak is unstable in the rough water. Where he once thought that he could use the current for extra speed, he now realizes the danger of capsizing and hugs the shore. Despite the direct assistance from the current, Ron has, for the first time, caught the British.
The seats come away from the bottom of the canoe. We'll have to stop at this checkpoint. And Ron isn't feeling very well.
The Australians are now ahead, but day 28 is short. Ron has a serious case of hay fever and is having breathing difficulties.
It just doesn't stick. and then we can say goodbye to the trip.
The constant pressure being exerted on the seat has split the joins. Unless it is rigid, Ron cannot put his full weight into each stroke. So the quality of this repair is crucial.
Is that log up to date yet, Kev?
No, but it soon will be.
Ron Bath cares little for going on.
Did you know we only done 44 miles a day? What a pity, hey?
Day 29. A fateful day. Ron's hay fever becomes severe in the early hours of the morning, and he is taken to hospital. After treatment, he improves. He is prepared to continue, but his heart is not in it.
Are you sure you've got your nasal spray?
I don't need to.
And your eye drops?
The seat seems secure. He is again level with the British.
See you later.
Be careful.
At 9 a.m., in much discomfort, he launches,
Keep a close eye on him, Kev.
but it will be many hours before Carolyn will see him again. A series of events take place on day 29.
I can't tell whether this is a grid line or a road or a county line. It's too straight for a road.
Carolyn misses the first two checkpoints. As the day wears on, Ron's strength returns. So does his will to win.
Hey, Kev. How about some night paddling?
Yeah, maybe we can catch up some time.
Will you just listen to me? You're not going to be able to see where you're going.
So, on an unknown river in raging flood, and with a half moon only to light their way, the brothers paddle into the arms of fate.
Oh, it's 10:30. Told him not to do it.
Are you looking for two Australian guys in canoes?
Yes.
They've had an accident.
In Kevin's craft, the motor managed to stall.
The canoe pushed the canoe into the stump where it crushed the bow of it, and all of a sudden there was a sudden gush of water that came piling into the canoe, and it came in that fast.
We heard cracks and crashes from the front of the boat, from the kayak. It was cracking up under the strain of the water. Just poured in and sank everything, turned the canoe upside down. I must have floated for about 10 feet downstream, and there was an overhead branch I tried to hang onto. And of course the water pressure, when I hung onto it, the water pressure just dragged the canoe from beneath me, and I was hanging there. I just couldn't hang any longer, so I just dropped into the water. And all I could hear was Kevin yelling, "Ron, Ron, Ron, where are you?" All I could see was these branches. I was reaching out for them. They were breaking. And I looked over to my side and I saw Kevin's yellow jacket, and he was hanging on a very thick log. And fortunately we heard this barge, the barge that we actually saw, it must have seen this canoe upside down. It must have picked it up on its radar, because we saw the searchlights looking for us, and they were going very, very slow.
Just hang on, guys. I can't get close to you with this tow here. They have help coming to assist you here in about an hour.
Both craft are gone. Equipment and first aid supplies are gone. The radio is gone. And as the minutes of the day pass, the chance of a record is sliding away.
Well, I've searched the riverbanks for 6 hours, from as far up as the rescue point to Linda Landing, and there's just no sign of them.
Look, mate, we've got a real problem. Last night we had an accident.
Oh, hell, Warren, what have you done?
I'll tell you about it when I get back. It's a long story.
Radio 2BH in the Bath brothers' hometown offers to run an appeal to raise money. With the hope of a result, Ron drives to Memphis to search for another kayak. A used kayak is bought by the film director, and a race against time to refit her begins. Fins are fitted to the hull for stability, and a complete seat and footrest system is built to suit the paddler. Days 30 and 31 have now passed with no miles paddled. But Ron is determined to recatch the British, even after this setback. To do so, he will have to cover enormous distances in the next 10 days, and first of all, adapt and adjust to a foreign craft. He has 874 miles to go. Day 32. The camera boat now becomes the full-time support craft. The Australian expedition has lost 106 miles.
Well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Ron was so tightly wedged into his own kayak that it didn't rub against him at all. But this new boat's so much wider and allows him to move around so much more that it could really hurt him physically. Or it could be okay. Today will tell.
The new kayak is proving to be surprisingly comfortable.
I don't paddle slalom kayaks at home. Never have. They're slow. They need a lot of effort to keep them straight. In dead water, they're hard to move. I was quite surprised with this one, though. We put a pair of fins under her to keep her running straight. And she isn't bad, especially in this fast water. In fact, in the waves, she's better than the Wanderer.
But lucky as Ron is with his new kayak, the elements take their toll. 2 hours late, arriving at Memphis after paddling only 47 miles, Ron cannot go on.
Can't be helped, Kev. Stuffed. Never paddled in the wind that strong before.
She's heading for New Orleans. How about we tie a tow rope?
Yeah. Suppose we'll see quite a bit of her.
Beautiful boat.
Day 34 is a highlight. With perfect weather and the current stronger than ever, Ron paddles 102 miles. But Carolyn is having great difficulty reaching checkpoints in the flood, and the radio transceivers which she borrowed tell their own story.
Kevin? Kevin! It's useless. I can see him, but I can't communicate with him.
So a primitive form of communication is adopted. Each morning now, Ron and Kevin take on a complete day's supplies together with their tent and emergency rations. With the increasingly difficult road access and virtually no communication, this is done in case Carolyn cannot get to the end of the day checkpoint.
456 to go, Ron.
Okay.
Ron is sprinting. 97 miles yesterday, today 100. He is closing the gap.
All my energy now is channeled into catching up 3 days and getting there ahead of the Air Force time.
You just keep on paddling, you hear?
I'm determined to paddle 100-mile days. I have to. Weather's good, the current's strong, and I'll keep going.
Day 36. The expedition reaches Vicksburg, Mississippi. At Vicksburg, Ron learns that the people of Broken Hill have donated $1,700 through the 2BH appeal. George Sorensen, Carolyn, and the film director are repaid, and there is some money left to see the expedition to the end. Ron's spirits are high. On day 39, he covers 104 miles. This will be his best day for the entire journey. Public interest in the Australian trio is increasing as they near their goal. At Baton Rouge, 230 miles from the Mississippi mouth, the expedition gets national television coverage in the USA, and the story goes out on satellite for world pickup. Ron again catches and passes the British. As Ron enters New Orleans harbor, he is a full day ahead.
Congratulations, buddy! Well done, Ron Bass.
Gee, that's a long way to paddle.
But it's not over yet. New Orleans is 94 miles upstream from the recognized mouth of the Mississippi. Paddling past New Orleans is an anticlimax. There is no one to cheer or wave and no one to care. The people are all behind. It's like adding another chapter to an already long novel. It is also the toughest part of the whole descent.
Coast Guard Mobile to Venice Base? Venice.
We're in company with this Australian canoeist.
We're 9 miles from the end of the river?
High crosswinds and choppy water make progress painfully slow. The miles crawl by. Ron summons up the last of his energy reserves. Stroke after stroke, he inches forward. Somewhere ahead, beyond the murky wind-whipped waves, is the end. Sometime today, it will be all over.
We've got ourselves a high crosswind out here.
But it's getting choppy.
Can't believe it's nearly over. 2,500 miles. Easy to say, huh? 41 days of river, river, river. There were a few times when I didn't want to go on, but here we are. God, it'll be good to stop.
It's one owner, little old lady in Pasadena.
You keep track of your time that way?
Shoot them rapids.
We hope it works. We don't know.
Did you know we're only going 44 miles today?
Be careful. Keep a close eye on him, kid.
Skipper, we're coming up to the end of the river.
At 2:12 p.m., 41 days after departure, Ron Barth becomes the first solo kayakist to paddle the entire Mississippi River. He started green, adapted to the river's moods, and was lucky. He has conquered the Mississippi River in record time.